Hey everyone, thanks for signing up for this Promethean Board training. I hope that you can find it useful. If there's anything that I don't go over in this first module, just email me with your questions as always. I'm just going to show you a couple of basic things in Module 1 that you may or may not already know. First and foremost, calibrating your board. I think a lot of you are already familiar with this, but if you're not, there's a little flame button that you can see in the images here. It's in the top left-hand corner of your board, and if you take your Promethean Board pin, which in this picture I've got the old pin, I don't know if any of you have the newer pin. I think there's one other classroom besides the Media Center that has the newer Promethean Board. So your pin may look a little bit different, but if you take it and hover over that flame, you'll notice that it turns red, and then you should hear a beeping sound. And then it pops up the 5 calibration circles, and then if you hit those, your board should be calibrated. There's also another way. If you look down here, I have a still image of the bottom tray of my laptop, and there's a little Promethean Board symbol there. And if you right click on that, let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like. If you right click on your Promethean Board, which I don't have a Promethean Board connected to my laptop right now, which is why you see the X, but if you right click, maybe. Oh, that's not there. We go. You see the word calibration there. On your end, when you're connected to your Promethean Board, calibration would be in black letters, and you can go and calibrate your board that way. Alright, so moving on, we're going to go over a couple of basic things in Active Inspire, which also, if you do not have Active Inspire installed on your computer, it's very easy to find it. Go to your computer, and then go down here to the Apps drive. And at the very top, you see Promethean Active Inspire. Click on that and open it. And then you want to do the install, the full install, if you don't have the program on your computer already. Also, I know like with the brownout that we had last Friday, a lot of people's boards have been acting up. So if you follow the troubleshooting guide that I sent out a while back ago and it still isn't working, you may want to come back here to this apps folder and install your driver again and see if that fixes the problem. Alright, so once you've downloaded Active Inspire and you have gotten it open, let's go ahead and open it. Your background probably looks different than mine. I'm going to show you in future video tutorials how to do that. But anyway, once you open it, let's just go over some basic things. Going back to the PowerPoint. We're going to first talk about how you can customize your toolbar. As a lot of you may or may not have more or less items over here. If you don't want a lot of things over here, then what I'm about to show you is going to help you a lot. I don't like to have a lot of things in my toolbar because first of all it makes your toolbar really long and it takes up a lot of space. So in order to fix that problem, you're going to go down here to Tools, and you can get to this 2 ways. Over here in your toolbar, you can also get to it up here. You may like this menu better because this one over here is temperamental. Sometimes it likes to stay open and sometimes it likes to close. So go to Tools, go to More Tools, and then go down here to Edit User Defined Buttons. And then you're going to click on Commands. And what you see over here, those are the items that are in your toolbar right now. If you want to add an item, you can scroll through the other things that you can add, like a highlighter. Some of you may want to, if you have a document up, you want to use the highlighter to highlight important words or whatever. So you would click on that and click Add. However, if you see something over here in your toolbar that you don't need, like let's say the fill bucket, click on it and click Remove. And then notice it disappeared from your toolbar. Alright, so that's how you add and remove items from your toolbar. Next up, editing your color palette. Alright, so this is your color palette, by the way. Let's say you need a different color besides this color green. You want more of a tree sprucey green. If you right click on a color, you have these choices here. However, if you're still not satisfied, you can click on this little color wheel and then you can select from your spectrum of colors. So let's say I like that green. So let's say OK. And notice that that green has now changed to the one that you selected. I'll show you later on in a future module how to expand upon your color palette as well. Okay. Alright, and then going back to your tools, there are a couple of tools that I think are kind of neat, just depending on what you teach. You may or may not find them useful. First and foremost, the desktop annotate. I think a lot of you have already discovered this. If you click on that, then your Promethean Board tools can be used on any document, any page on your computer. So for example, in my PowerPoint presentation, if I wanted to circle Active Inspire, or if I wanted to highlight, like I was saying a minute ago, an important word, which obviously I don't want my highlighter to be that big, here's where you can decide the size of your pen and your highlighter. There we go, that's better. So there's the highlighter, and you can change the color of the highlighter if you want to. So that's what desktop annotate is. Now keep in mind that when you annotate on the desktop, you're annotating on the desktop. You're actually not annotating on a document. You're not writing on the document, so it will not save anything that you have written or done to a document. And also, one thing that I find really annoying is that if you have, say you're looking at a Word document that's 13 pages long, as you scroll down to get to the other pages, your annotations scroll with you. They don't stay where you drew them. So you have to keep erasing the page, or hitting this little refresh button over here also gets rid of your annotations. And then remember to go back to your flip chart. You're going to hit that annotate button again, and it takes you back. Alright, so going back to your tools, just a little brief overview, I guess, of some of the other tools that you have available to you. Of course, you've got your pen, your highlighter, your eraser. Y'all are pretty familiar with those. This one's kind of cool. This is handwriting recognition. If you're writing on your board, which is it's not gonna work right for me, but if you click on that, and then you start writing, and I'm gonna try my best to write the word cat. And if you wait for just a second, oh, look, it worked. It will actually pick up your handwriting and translate it into text, which I think is kind of cool. And did you see it just deleted itself? But there's a little drop-down box that shows up if there's any question as to what the word was that you're trying to write. You might have a selection of words that it could be. So that one's kind of cool. Also, there's a shape recognition, where if you draw a shape, it will turn it into an actual, I guess, drawing shape. The revealer tool, not really sure how you would use this. I never really used it, but as you can see, when you click on it, it puts this big black box on the board, and then you can slowly pull it down to reveal items. So I guess if you didn't want your students getting ahead on something, you could use this. And then to get rid of it, you just go back and uncheck it. Alright, spotlight tool, again, it's one of those, if you can think of a use for it, great. But it travels around the screen, kind of like a flashlight. Then you have your camera tool. Now this one's kind of cool. If you want to take a picture of the screen that you're working on, I know I've taught a lot of people how to use function print screen. This is kind of the same feature. You have different options. You can do an area snapshot, which is where you would select a portion of your screen, point to point, where you're going to draw your own shape to take a snapshot. Freehand snapshot, where you would draw freehand. It would take a window snapshot, a full screen snapshot. This capture from active view, we don't have active view, so that's not applicable to us. But just an area snapshot. You select your area. It's going to ask you, where do you want to put it? You can say you want to put it on this current page, on a new page, in the clipboard. My resources, shared resources, that's kind of like clip art for the Active Inspire. So let's just put it on a new page. And so there you go. There's my snapshot right there. Let's take the spotlight off. And there, you can see it better. Alright. Moving on. Math tools. These were cool for me. You know, I was an elementary teacher. You have a ruler that you can put on the screen, and if you click on it with your arrow, well, it's supposed to, there you go. You can make it bigger or smaller. And then you can also rotate it, which I've made mine so big. So if you want inches instead of, sorry about that. If you wanted inches on top instead of centimeters. That one's kind of cool if you're doing a measuring unit or whatever. Oh, I didn't mean to put another one.
Peyton Henderson, Michaela.
Alright, and I had to play around with this the other day. I was like, how do I get rid of these? I was trying to erase them, all kinds of stuff. You see this recycle bin down here? If you take that object and drag it down there, if you see it gets a little red arrow, that's how you get rid of your rulers when you're done with them. Okay. Other math tools. You've got a set square. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what this is. I'm pretty sure it's something that my dad used to use for drawing blueprints. Don't laugh at me. But it's there. You can make it bigger or smaller too. If you wait for the little arrows to pop up. And to get rid of it, just like the other ones. Find your little... There we go. Or actually, yep, you can click on that too and close it. Alright. You've got a protractor. I'm not going to open all these. The compass, the XY origin, dice roller, and the calculator. The calculator just puts an on-screen calculator up there. The dice roller, now me coming from elementary ed, we used to use this for addition and subtraction. You can select, I have 1 dice, 2, 3, all the way up to 5 dice. So you might find a use for that. And then there are more tools that you can use. There's a sound recorder, a screen recorder, an on-screen keyboard. There you go. There's a little on-screen keyboard if you wanted a student at the board to type. Other ones that I thought were kind of cool. There's a clock, which this can turn into a countdown clock if you click the countdown button. You set your time if you want your kids working for 20 minutes on something. Not 23 hours. There we go. And then you can select from their list of sounds to play when the time is up. And say okay, and there's your countdown clock. You can also have a count up clock. And that is about all that I had for you as far as your toolbar goes. Now, going back, the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is about Promethean Planet. Promethean has its own online database of flip charts that teachers have made. They have some that are custom made as well. And you have the opportunity too, if you're so inclined, to create a flip chart, and then you can share it on Promethean Planet. Promethean Planet is free, but I have noticed that now they have free flip charts, and they have flip charts that are available for purchase, kind of like if you're familiar with Teachers Pay Teachers. They also have free training available online, and you can search by state standard. So real quick, to finish up this first module, let's just go to Promethean Planet. You will have to sign up for a free account. And after you have signed in, you have the option of going to the resources at the top and selecting grade level, or you can go by subject area. So let's take a look at, you can also just do a free search up here. So let's say I'm looking for something for AP Chemistry. And here are all the flip charts that are already submitted. Not a whole lot, because, you know, I think the higher up you get in grade-wise, the fewer flip charts there are, but that may encourage you to create a flip chart and share it on Promethean Planet for another teacher. Let's take a look at world geography. Let's try that one. Alright, and so now we've gotten more of a selection. And you can preview any of these. Let's see, here's a good, or it looks like a good world geography map. Hit preview. And then you can actually go through. This one actually only has one page. But if it had multiple pages down here, you'd have a navigation bar where you can click through the different slides and take a look at them. And if it's something that you like, you click download and it downloads it, and it will give you the option to go ahead and open it in your Active Inspire. And then by doing that, you have the option of editing that flip chart, and I think that's kind of cool. So you could take this and have this be like your first slide in your flip chart, and then go on and add to it. And then also, like I was saying, under professional development, they have the free training, and then there's the store, and that is where you have the option of purchasing some other flip charts. Okay, so I hope that you found this little tutorial helpful. If you have any questions after viewing this, feel free to email me. Thanks.